to have more and more stuff put out there as time goes on. If there's something that you think is missing, MATLAB seems to not be here, so we're going to look at that. But MATLAB is normally installed. So if you're trying to use MATLAB at home, you can do that. Mathematica is going to show up here soon. And Extend. If you have Mac and you're taking the simulations class, we'll have the Extend software installed out here, and you can run that from home over the AFS function. Any question about any of the AFS stuff? Yes, sir.
I'm using like OpenAFS to actually, so you can actually mount the AFS like it's a physical hard drive on your computer.
Yes, if you're doing it from home, it'll show you as a mount point under.
What cell do I use? I believe I asked you that before. Like,
yeah, there's 2 files you need to use this remote. I can show you those. We're going to have them posted to the equipment support later on, probably today. The first one is, if you log on to Clipper or any of our Unix machines, you need our Kerberos config. Because the Kerberos config is going to tell your computer how to find our servers. Right? So we actually have the 3 Kerberos servers just in case one of them has gone down. And then if you change your password, it'll tell your password's good at that one. So you need this file to be able to do the KInit thing. And to do the OpenAFS thing, you'll see what they talk about, the cell serve DB file. You need those 4 lines put into your cell serve. And that will be on the website. So once you do that, this is saying if we're going to go to the CS-ship-edu AFS server, then contact one of these 3 servers.
Is it like, I know you're saying how there's like the public AFS domain. Do I log into that originally and then go to the CS servers from there based on?
Yeah, your mount point will be, if you're under Windows, your mount point will be this AFS top level directory. So you'll see all this thing. If you don't see CS-ship-edu, then you need to add those entries to the cell server.
Yeah, I just want to like it says, I'm actually looking at here, it says like obtain the new AFS tokens to log in. It says what ASL do you want to use, your username and your password.
Right, CS-ship-edu is our AFS cell.
Alright.
But it won't work unless you have those entries in your cell server. Alright. You can have that be your default. If you, wherever those files are being stored, there's a file called this cell. And you just put in CS-ship-edu 1 line. And then it'll automatically use ours as default.
Just to clarify what we'll say, when we're talking about AFS is actually OpenAFS. That's the implementation we're using. So your OpenAFS is actually what we're using.
And if you are messing around with AFS, the one really cool thing that AFS does is it provides a local copy on your machine that you're using of your network resource. And that's one reason why it can be so fast. And if you're messing around with this at home, you can tune the cache size of what this is. So this is setting a 500,000K, so 500 megs in disk cache. So this machine is using 500 megs of its disk, and it's got a copy of a secure encrypted copy of the network resources that were previously used. So for example, and this is kind of neat, Windows doesn't do this. If I take this big working file, and I just try to read it, and I don't really care what's in it. I'm just going to read it. Pulling through the network server, I'm getting 10.3 megabytes per second, right? Which is actually not bad for a network, because this machine is only connected to the 100 megabit network. So the network wire here is actually the limiting factor. If I do it again, however, now I'm getting 48 megabytes per second because the file already lives on this machine. And it's just reading it from this disk cache. So if you're using AFS and you're running a program in the apps directory at home, and it takes a little while for it to come up the first time, just let it sit there and pull the data down. And then blame the people downstairs because they limit the amount of data we can send out or pull in to 500 kilobytes per second. I don't know why they picked that number, but that's what they've limited us to. However, once it's in your disk cache, you're golden. It'll read it at the speed of your local hard drive. So that's kind of how all that works. Any more questions about AFS? The other thing that's kind of hidden now, but I want to talk real quickly about the VPN. And it's not too hard. The VPN is a virtual private network, in case you're not familiar with that term. And to use it, all you do is go to vpn.cs.ship.edu as an HTTPS. The cost to buy an SSL certificate is about $500. I don't think it's worth spending $500 to make this screen not show up. So when you go to the VPN server, it's going to say this certificate is invalid, don't trust it, whatever. If you trust that we're not stupid in how we run our VPN server, then just say, I understand the risks, and add an exception, yes, I know, fine, confirm, and you'll get to the sign-in box. All right? So now that we get through that mess, and then just put in your username and password that you've used for these lab machines. And what's going to happen now, you won't see everybody's, I don't think. No. I do, because I'm marked as the administrator, but what you'll see here is a line for yours. You can either download the client OVPN or the Windows installer. Obviously, if you're using Windows, this is the preferred thing to do. And it's going to install the OpenVPN client. This is open source software, so if you're using Linux or Mac, you can get OpenVPN for free. If you're using Windows or Mac, you're going to need the client file, not the installer, obviously. You download that, and recently added here is a link to how to connect from OS X and how to connect from Linux. I didn't write those. The vendor of the OpenVPN vendor published those. You follow those links, and what's going to happen is it's going to run some software on your PC. I can't do it because I'm on campus, and it's kind of weird. But what will happen is your traffic that's destined for a couple of different networks, instead of going directly out your internet connection, goes out through the VPN, and it gets packaged up in the VPN to go to a machine over next door, and that machine will in turn send it out to wherever else it needs to go. So for example, when you want to access our lab machines, or any of our servers here on campus, or in our CS department, use the VPN, and you can SSH straight in to any machine, or you can remote desktop into any of these lab machines, or any of the servers we have. If you want to log on to a lab machine and use remote desktop, pick one. We have 32 in this room. They're named really, really crazy. MCT 162, S01 through S33. Pick one. SSH in, log in with your user ID, and you can run programs on it. If you're trying to use your lab machine, if you let the file in the work directory or something like that, and you want to get it over the weekend, you can do that with the VPN, straight in. The other thing it does is I picked the ACM digital library is served by our VPN. So when you go from home to the ACM digital library, it'll automatically send your traffic through there as if you were sitting here on campus. So you can access the library from home, well, the digital library from home, and Tech Safari. So you can go to Safari Books as well as the DL using the VPN. Okay? So it's kind of a little easy way of doing that. I'm working through the issue, but I think, if my understanding is correct, most NAT routers don't like AFS. So if you're using AFS from home and you have NAT, you're going to have to run the VPN. Because part of what AFS is going to do is it's going to try to send data back, and your NAT router, like your Linksys router, isn't going to know that you really want that data, and it's going to drop it. So over the VPN, that doesn't happen. So any questions with VPN? So any and all data that's sent over is encrypted. So if you're concerned about that, the VPN also encrypts your data. So basically, it's just like you're sitting here, but you're at home. If you're using Wi-Fi on campus, just throw this out. Wi-Fi on campus is not protected. There is zero encryption on the Wi-Fi on campus. So it's just wide open, public, no WPA, no web, no anything. If you open a connection over the VPN, at least your connections to our